For decades, researchers have been trying to communicate with Bigfoot. But have you ever wondered who he is trying to communicate with? These audio recordings might just answer that question.
Just now, scientists on the Expedition Bigfoot mission in Alaska hit upon astonishing evidence that Bigfoot actually exists. Their cameras captured a tree radiating unusual warmth in the icy forest, a clue too bizarre to ignore. The tension skyrocketed as they gathered more mysterious signs from the thick woods.
A lot of encounters, Bigfoot encounters, have occurred in areas of spiritual significance, like cemeteries or areas that have seen a large amount of death.
Then out of nowhere, chilling sounds pierced the silence, sending shivers down everyone's spine. What could be lurking out there, just beyond the trees? Tune in as we uncover what's behind these horrifying noises in the Alaskan wilderness. Thermal Secrets of Alaska's Unknown. In a fascinating episode of Expedition Bigfoot, a team of explorers trekking through Alaska's wildlands came across some clues that might suggest this elusive creature could be real. This discovery has caught the attention of researchers and fans worldwide. In another part of the episode, the group found more interesting hints in the thick forests of Alaska. Using advanced thermal imaging technology, they spotted a strange heat pattern on a tree, different from the usual heat marks of other trees nearby.
This tree structure stood out like a sore thumb, and we got really excited because it was one of the first real big pieces of evidence that we had, aside from that footprint that just got washed away.
This unusual finding made the team think something unusual might be nearby, which fueled their curiosity and excitement. As night fell over the shadowy woods, the thermal scanner suddenly picked up a rapid movement, a large indistinct figure that seemed to vanish as quickly as it appeared. The episode began with the group scanning the forest using their thermal cameras. This technology is important for studying wildlife because it detects the heat given off by living creatures. It helps spot animals hidden in thick bushes or even in the dark. During their scan, the equipment picked up a sudden heat spike on one tree. This was unusual because the cold surroundings meant trees shouldn't show such clear heat marks unless something heated them. What made it more interesting was that the heat was only in one small part of the tree, which suggested that something warm may have touched it briefly. As they looked at this strange heat signature, the team began to hear creepy sounds from the thick forest, which made them even more on edge. One of the strange sounds was a repeated slapping noise coming from a nearby water source. This didn't sound like any animal the team expected to hear in that area. Beavers are known to slap their tails against the water, but they usually only do it once as a warning.
We just carpeted this entire forest floor with seismic sensors, but nothing is going off. Is it possible that whatever I saw is actually using the trees to avoid them?
The continuous slapping noise was different, making the team think it could be coming from a much larger creature, possibly one walking on two legs. This mix of strange heat patterns and spooky noises made the team believe they could be getting close to discovering something truly amazing. The ongoing water slapping especially pointed to a creature that moves on two legs. Walking on two legs, called bipedalism, is something humans do and a few animals. But the thought of a two-legged creature wandering the wilds of Alaska brought the conversation back to Bigfoot. Also called Sasquatch, it is usually described as a tall, hairy, two-legged creature living in remote forests. People who claim to have seen it often say it's very hard to find, which adds to the mystery. In this episode, the strange heat mark and weird sounds made by the team hinted at the possibility of such a creature being nearby, even though the evidence was indirect. But this wasn't the only curious thing. To understand the strange heat on the tree, the team had to consider several possibilities. Heat marks on trees can happen for a number of reasons, like leftover warmth from the sun, nearby animals, or even underground heat sources. However, the specific details of this case, the location, timing, and sudden appearance of the heat, suggested something more immediate and brief, like a large warm creature might have touched the tree for a moment. The repeated slapping sound, when studied alongside temperature data, suggested a clear pattern of behavior. It seemed possible that a two-legged creature was nearby, using the water to cool down, or for reasons we don't fully understand yet. Researchers believe this behavior might explain the unusual heat detected on a tree. The creature may have leaned against it briefly to rest, cooling off before moving on. This part of the study gives important clues in the ongoing search for the creature known as Bigfoot. While the findings aren't conclusive, the strange heat and sounds make a strong case for deeper investigation. Using advanced tools like thermal cameras becomes essential as they can reveal things in the thick wilderness that are usually hidden. Next, the team finds a warm spot high in a tree, possibly left by Bigfoot recently. Bigfoot's dark trail. The careful and detailed work of the team adds strength to their findings. By closely documenting the changes in temperature and sounds, they set a solid foundation for future research. Their results also encourage other scientists to try similar methods, which might lead to more discoveries and a better understanding of Bigfoot. In one episode of the Expedition Bigfoot series, they found something unusual, an area of warmth high in a tree. This was captured with thermal imaging, which stands out especially in the cold night air, hinting that a large creature had been there recently. But this wasn't the most surprising part. The technology used here picks up heat differences by detecting infrared radiation, which is super useful in wildlife research, especially at night when visibility is low. It helps researchers overcome the challenges of darkness and thick trees. In this case, the equipment picked up a strong heat signal from a tree, which was surprising given the cold environment. Normally, trees don't give off heat unless something external affects them. The fact that this heat was so high up and significant ruled out the usual causes like animals on the ground or lingering warmth from the sun. This suggested that a creature with a lot of body heat had been there very recently. But here's the real kicker. The heat faded quickly. Heat from things like the sun or even large rocks usually disappears slowly, but this heat vanished fast. This suggested that whatever caused it had just left, adding excitement and urgency to their search for answers. This brief clue showed the creature was close and had been active nearby recently. It gave the researchers a mix of excitement and cautious hope. Bryce, one of the team members, thought the creature might have used the water to cool down. His idea came from not finding any heat signs on the other side of the lake. Bryce suggested that if the creature went into the cold water and then climbed out, its body heat would drop, making it harder to spot with the heat cameras.
What I found on that sandbar are footprints 18 inches long. What else would make a footprint like that? I've not seen humans for days. It's out of place. Does not belong here in this space.
This idea is based on basic heat exchange. Cold water can absorb a lot of heat, lowering the temperature of anything in it. If this is what the creature did, it might explain why its heat signature disappeared near the tree and became difficult to track after crossing the water. The idea that the creature used water to cool off gives us some clues about how it thinks and acts. It might suggest the creature is smart, trying to avoid being detected by cooling down in the water. Stories about Bigfoot often describe it as clever, similar to other animals that use their environment in smart ways. Many animals have clever ways to manage their body temperature or avoid danger. For example, some mammals and birds roll in dust or mud to keep cool and avoid pests. Similarly, animals often blend into their surroundings to stay hidden from predators or people. From a research perspective, this strange heat finding and the water cooling theory highlight the need for more studies and better tools in wildlife research. While the heat signal doesn't prove Bigfoot exists, it's an important clue. The way the heat sign faded quickly, along with the idea that the creature used the water to cool down, gives a possible explanation for its movements. For future research, it would be helpful to use more tools along with heat cameras. These might include cameras triggered by movement, devices that detect unusual sounds, and test for environmental DNA, eDNA. eDNA involves collecting and analyzing genetic material animals leave in their surroundings. This could provide solid proof by finding traces the creature might have left in the water or on the tree. At an old logging site, an intriguing pattern leads the team deeper into their search, decoding nature's clues in the hunt for Bigfoot. The discovery of the heat signature during the expedition. Bigfoot investigation was an exciting moment. The sudden disappearance of the heat and the theory that the creature used the water for cooling gives useful hints about its possible actions and intelligence. While these clues don't confirm its existence, they encourage more exploration and show how advanced technology can help in studying elusive creatures like this one. In the fascinating story of Expedition Bigfoot, a group of researchers explored an old abandoned logging site. This spot became the main focus of their investigation because it formed a perfect triangle.
Kind of back up in here. That still allows me to see with this clearing back here behind me. This is the creepiest place I've ever been.
With other nearby locations that also sparked their interest. The team was intrigued by this triangular pattern, thinking it might be connected to the creature's movements or behavior. This made them wonder if these spots could reveal more about the mysterious creature. Patterns like this, especially geometric shapes found in nature, can sometimes suggest intentional design or important natural events. For the Expedition Bigfoot team, the triangle seemed like a clue that the creature might be marking its territory or following a specific path. The team's leader, Bryce, felt a strong pull to revisit the logging site. He believed they might have missed something important there, especially because of the strange triangular pattern and the site's history of unusual occurrences. Bryce was reminded of something that happened just 2 weeks ago. The area was filled with odd, unsettling sounds, so strange that people left the site in a hurry. This gave the team a sense of urgency. In local stories, unusual sounds like these are often linked to encounters with the creature. Witnesses often describe hearing knocks, calls, or other noises that don't match any known animal. The team dug deeper into the history of the area.
So I started moving towards that heat signature, and I'm still scanning the area as much as I can with the thermals while trying to also juggle my flashlights.
And found reports of people disappearing near the logging site. While it's not uncommon for people to go missing in remote and rugged places, the number of vanishings around this particular site was unusually high. This only strengthened the team's belief that they were onto something big in their search for clues. The idea that the creature might be connected to these disappearances, whether directly or not, is enough to send chills down your spine. While there isn't any solid evidence proving the creature is behind these strange events, the frequent vanishings in the area gave researchers a strong reason to focus their attention here. When they arrived at the abandoned logging site, they were immediately struck by how quiet and eerie it felt. The long absence of people made it the perfect hiding spot for a creature like this. Since no one had been around in ages, any clues left behind would likely still be there, waiting to be discovered. The team carefully searched the area, looking for any signs that the creature might have been there. They focused on finding things like large footprints, hair strands, or any biological material that could be tested for DNA. The dense bushes and leftover debris from logging offered plenty of hiding spots and made it easy for something large to move around unseen. The idea that remote and untouched areas are where such creatures might live isn't new. Enthusiasts and experts have long believed that these isolated places.
This is the creepiest place I've ever been. And I think it offers the biggest chance that we've got of actually seeing or having a sighting tonight.
Are where you'd be most likely to find such creatures. This old logging site fit the bill perfectly. It was remote and had a history of strange, unexplained events. The layout of the logging site was important too. It formed a triangle with other key locations in the area. If these places were part of the creature's regular travel routes or important parts of its territory, understanding this pattern could give clues about how the creature moves and lives. This kind of knowledge could guide future research and lead to even more discoveries. The efforts at this logging site gave the Expedition Bigfoot team several new leads to follow. Its triangular layout, combined with its history of strange noises and the nearby cases of missing people, made it a central focus in their search. Returning to the site, the team finds a heat pattern that looks like footprints. High-tech hunts in Alaska's wilderness. When Bryce went back to the site, it reinforced how important it is to keep looking in areas that show promise. As the team combed through the empty logging area, they combined historical knowledge with new technology, hoping to find solid evidence of the creature's existence. This part of the research highlighted the blend of old beliefs, scientific investigation, and modern technology in today's hunt for mysterious creatures. While the clues they found were interesting, they also reminded the team just how hard it is to track down something as elusive as this creature. But the team's persistence and careful approach continue to fuel interest and admiration in their quest to uncover the hidden mysteries of nature. But the real surprise came when the team found a heat pattern that looked like footprints. This discovery gave the Expedition Bigfoot crew even more motivation to keep searching.
Pretty close to where I want to be. This falls out really nice below me. Got a hillside there, a hillside beyond it.
They used their heat-sensing cameras to scan the area in detail, hoping to learn more about how the creature might behave and move. Each new clue, from strange heat readings to odd noises, strengthened the idea that the creature might actually be out there, roaming the wilderness of Alaska. Yet this was only the beginning. Each discovery brought new challenges and more questions. The group kept using advanced heat-sensing cameras, which had already proven helpful by showing heat patterns that the human eye can't see. These cameras allow scientists to notice differences in temperature, which could reveal where animals are hiding. In the dense, dark forest, this approach is crucial for tracking a difficult-to-find animal. By carefully scanning the area, the group hoped to find more strange heat patterns that might show where the creature had been walking or resting. Earlier, they had spotted a heat outline in a tree, suggesting that this creature can move quickly and deliberately. Using these cameras gave them the best chance to follow its movements and gather more clues. Along with heat detection, the team also paid close attention to the sounds around them. Strange noises like repeated slaps in the water or odd sounds near the area where trees had been cut were noted as possible signs of the creature. These kinds of sounds are often reported during sightings, making them an important part of the search. The team used high-quality sound recording gear to capture any unusual noises during their time in the field. By reviewing these sound recordings, they hope to find patterns or strange sounds that might point to the creature's presence.
Doubt that this is some hiker or hunter. To me, this is a Bigfoot vocalization, so I wanted to reach out to somebody who could make sense of this.
For instance, repeated knocking noises or calls that didn't match any known animals could provide important clues. To add to their sound and visual findings, the group also used environmental DNA, eDNA, analysis. This method involves gathering and examining genetic material left behind by animals in the environment, like in the soil, water, or on plants. Since animals naturally leave traces of DNA wherever they go, studying eDNA can reveal what species are present without needing to physically see or catch them. Whenever the team found strange heat patterns or traces of leftover warmth, they collected samples to test for eDNA. If they found DNA that didn't match any known species, it could give them solid evidence that the creature was in the area. eDNA analysis is a relatively new but powerful tool in wildlife research, offering the chance for big discoveries. Understanding the creature's habits and where it might be found was a key part of the team's investigation. They thought the creature could prefer certain areas, which might explain the heat traces and strange noises they kept finding. By tracking these events, the team hoped to predict where the creature might show up next, or figure out where it usually stays. Using new tech, the team maps the forest, coming closer to uncovering Bigfoot's trails, uncovering clues with cutting-edge science. To do this, they used GPS technology to track where they made important discoveries. This data was carefully analyzed to find any patterns or spots where unusual things kept happening. For example, if there were several strange heat readings near a river or in a specific part of the woods, those areas would become the focus of their study. To improve their chances of getting solid proof, the team set up cameras that turn on when they detect movement. These cameras allowed them to monitor the area all the time, even when no one was there. By placing them in spots where heat or sounds were recorded, the team hoped to capture photos or videos of Bigfoot. The cameras were arranged to cover different angles and heights, giving them a complete view. If it was using the water to cool off or walking along certain paths, these cameras were likely to catch it in action.
Is that a beaver? That's a beaver. It's going around in circles, so they hit their tail into the water.
Motion-sensitive cameras have been really important in studying wildlife, helping scientists get clear evidence of hard-to-find animals. But this wasn't the toughest part of their job. The team from Expedition Bigfoot had a very detailed and scientific approach to their work. They used a combination of methods like thermal imaging, sound recording, GPS tracking, eDNA analysis, and motion-triggered cameras. Every small clue, like a heat spike or an odd noise, was added to a growing collection of data that suggested the presence of an unknown creature in the forests of Alaska. Their dedication to using solid science and advanced tools showed how serious they were about their mission. The idea of it, also known as Sasquatch, has been around for hundreds of years. Many Native American tribes have shared stories of a large, hairy, two-legged creature in the woods. The word Sasquatch comes from the Halkomelem language of indigenous groups in British Columbia. The legend gained a lot of attention in the 1950s when footprints were found at Bluff Creek in California, sparking public interest and leading to many expeditions. Though the findings of the team are interesting, many scientists remain skeptical about its existence. They argue that without solid proof, like bones or clear photos, it's hard to believe in such a creature. On top of that, many sightings and pieces of supposed evidence have turned out to be hoaxes.
This is a really compelling case, not just because of this evidence. When it comes to legends of unknown creatures in Alaska,
Take, for example, the famous Patterson-Gimlin film from 1967, which has been debated for decades over whether it's real or not. Still, some researchers believe it's possible for species to stay hidden, especially in remote, densely forested areas. The coelacanth, a fish thought to have been extinct for millions of years, was rediscovered in 1938 near South Africa. This discovery is often used as proof that unknown animals might still exist without being seen. But there's more. Citizen scientists, or regular people who search for it in their free time, have also played an important role. These hobbyists often report sightings or share their findings, helping to add to the overall knowledge base. Groups like the Bigfoot Field Researchers Organization collect these reports and investigate them. While many professional scientists are doubtful, the passion and commitment of amateur researchers keep the search going strong. The search also highlights the importance of protecting natural areas. The deep forests and isolated places where it might live are also home to many other species. Protecting these areas not only helps preserve the potential home of it, but also safeguards important habitats for a variety of plants and animals. In this way, the search can even help support broader efforts to protect the environment. Even though clear evidence of it is still missing, the data gathered by the team makes a strong case for continuing the search. Their thorough and detailed approach means they won't overlook any possible clues, keeping the hope alive of uncovering one of nature's most fascinating mysteries.
The team saw something truly terrifying that shook them to the core.
It's a Bigfoot history, that video there, and that's one of the reasons I enjoy it.
After years of investigation, they discovered what appears to be undeniable evidence that Bigfoot exists. They had spent weeks setting up trackers and sound recorders in the hopes of catching any movement, but nothing happened for quite some time. Then, out of nowhere, Russell detected movement near one of the trackers, close to a rushing creek. Without hesitation, he and Maria crossed over to continue the route. The team had long suspected that more than one Bigfoot might be on the island, and their worst fears were realized when they came upon a chilling scene. Bones and body parts scattered across the land, like a grisly crime scene. It was horrifying, but it gave them their best lead yet. This discovery confirmed their suspicions that these lethal predators may not be alone. There could be a whole group hiding in the shadows, and this gory trail was the proof they'd been looking for. As they moved deeper into the dense, murky forest, Maria and Russell came upon something that sent shivers down their spines. A gigantic handprint, at least double the size of a human's. Convinced it was the mark of a Bigfoot, this finding drove the beginning of their next big expedition. Without delay, they reached out to Ronnie, who was thrilled by the find. The whole team buzzed with excitement, eager to unravel the mystery before them. Wasting no time, Ronnie left Ridges Island and joined Russell and Maria at dawn, ready to explore the giant, hand-shaped impression they had found. The forest was scattered with curious indentations, but nothing matched the size of this massive print. When Ronnie arrived, he was stunned by the sheer scale of it, like nothing he'd seen before. But the surprises didn't end there. A little further on, they discovered something even more astonishing: deep knuckle marks. If these marks belonged to Bigfoot, the creature may have walked on two legs as well as its knuckles, moving both bipedally and on all fours. The discovery represented an exciting new chapter in their hunt for the elusive creature.
You see that?
Oh my God.
Holy crap.
The discovery of the knuckle prints was not the team's first encounter with something strange. Just a year before, Maria discovered a gigantic skull with traits that appeared to cross the gap between humans and apes. This skull had a small fissure, hinting at the possibility that Bigfoot might be a hybrid of both species, able to walk upright like a human, yet also using its knuckles for movement, like an ape. The new discovery of knuckle prints only strengthened Maria's argument, indicating that Bigfoot could walk both bipedally and quadrupedally. As the crew carefully analyzed the prints, they discovered something even more surprising. Russell saw two unique sets of prints on the soil. Using their zoom cameras and infrared technology, they established that these tracks were made by two different species, confirming the presence of more than one Bigfoot on the island. This revelation fueled the team's determination, as they now had concrete evidence of multiple creatures, differing handprints, knuckle marks, and footprints that pointed to more than just a lone Bigfoot. Maria lost no time in forwarding the information to Bryce for additional analysis. His investigation of the handprints revealed something even more perplexing. The prints were not only from two different creatures, but they were also distinct from one another. The enthusiasm increased, but so did the realization of the task ahead. The island's lush jungle and enormous breadth made it nearly hard to precisely locate the creatures. The researchers hypothesized that the creatures were using the river as a corridor, migrating along its banks. The river encircled a valley, creating a natural land bowl, a feature that could potentially aid the team's search efforts by narrowing the area they needed to focus on. With their new theory in mind, they planned to methodically comb the valley, despite knowing the odds of finding the creatures remained slim. But this valley, with its 20,000 acres of rugged terrain, surrounded by mountains towering 3,000 feet high, became their last hope. The anxiety increased as they prepared to act. Everything depended on this moment.
I'm not seeing anything. I'm going to keep going in the southwest direction. Keep your eyes on it and let me know if it changes direction.
If the animals escaped, the team's efforts would be useless. Just as excitement was building, Bryce's drone detected a humanoid shape moving through the valley using thermal imaging. With this important information, the team divided into two groups. Ronnie took the right side of the valley, while Russell and Maria went the left, all of them intent on the quest, knowing that the truth behind these odd tracks could be lurking in the shadows. Moving carefully along the riverbanks, the team depends primarily on Bryce's superior technology to scan the valley from above. Their only hope lies in Bryce's drones as they circle the area, searching for signs of the elusive creatures. In an unexpected twist, another group armed with cutting-edge robots joins the chase. The heat sensors on the robots detect even the smallest movements, assisting the team in their efforts to corner the aliens lurking within the deep valley. As the drones continue their airborne sweep, the ground teams, Ronnie, Maria, and Russell, navigate the riverbanks, carefully following the drone's instructions. Bryce and the robot crew take up strategic positions at the stream's junction points, ready to detect any odd activity with their thermal sensors. The search intensifies after Bryce's team detects a humanoid figure on thermal readings deep within the valley. Without hesitation, Maria and Russell, located just miles from the sighting, coordinate with Bryce to direct the drones and robots to the location, their focus sharp as the hunt escalates. The team, feeling they were on the verge of something big, continued following the elusive trail toward a nearby glacier. Meanwhile, on the opposite side of the valley, Ronnie detected something unusual in the thick timberline. The sound of branches cracking and rustling drew his attention, but the intense darkness prevented him from seeing properly. Ronnie requested Bryce's assistance, sensing he was on the verge of discovering something major. Bryce immediately dispatched the drone to locate Ronnie.
You see anything?
Nothing.
You guys have a visual?
It should be right in front of you.
Should be right here.
The drone swiftly detected thermal radiation over the area, confirming the team's fears that they were not alone in the valley. The creature, whatever it was getting closer, and the search was quickly coming to an end. Bryce noticed movement near Ronnie's position while monitoring the drone's thermal lens. Driven by adrenaline, Ronnie ran into the dense forest line, determined to find the beast for himself. Bryce, realizing how close he was, joined Ronnie for a more thorough study. When they finally arrived, they were both taken aback by what they saw. The ground was marked with massive footprints, indicating that Bigfoot had been there only moments earlier. Even more surprising were the giant tree trunks shattered in half and spaced about 6 feet apart, proving the enormous size of the beast the team was after. As Bryce rushed to follow up, Ronnie carefully surveyed the surroundings with his thermal camera, hoping the beast had not traveled too far. However, the dense trees obstructed the camera's view, making it difficult to detect any thermal signals. Something shifted nearby, just as it appeared that the trail had gone cold. Ronnie's heart raced as he spotted a humanoid figure moving through the trees. For a brief minute, he assumed it was Bigfoot, but as the figure came into focus, he realized it was Bryce. The two soon communicated their findings and decided to pursue the tracks further. The entire search crew was excited, hoping that today would be the day they finally caught a sight of the elusive beast. The unmistakable indications of the path were apparent: the clear toe separation and the prominent arch in the prints. The journey that had led them here involved tracking footprints, vocalizations, and thermal imaging. And with only a few days left, the team was determined to make the most of the time they had. With flashlights as their only source of light, Ronnie and Bryce proceeded deeper into the spooky woodland, following the huge trail that would eventually prove Bigfoot's existence. Despite the terrible weather, the tenacious search team kept going, looking for new clues and evidence.
And he has that well-known video that there's just no way that he could be authentic.
Their persistence paid off when they discovered a direct route to an area where Bigfoot appeared to enter and exit. As they drew closer to the glacier, the layer of snow on the ground revealed another chilling sign of the creature's presence: a fresh kill. The scene was gruesome, with blood staining the snow and creating a horrifying image of the entity's latest victim. The stench of blood affected the air, a clear reminder that they were deep in the territory of a powerful predator. The squad stood in the midst of a horrible sight, fully aware that they had entered the hunter's area, giving the beast a terrifying advantage. It was scary to think that the creature responsible for the devastation may be lurking nearby, observing their every move. Nonetheless, they faced the awful sight in front of them with steadfast resolve. Before them lay the remnants of what appeared to be an elk or a Sitka blacktail deer, its ribs gruesomely separated. The terrifying dissection perplexed the team. Why would a monster purposely destroy the bones in such a cruel way? The gruesome discovery triggered memories of Maria's earlier research on early humans during the Stone Age, who often broke bones to access the nutrient-rich marrow within, a practice that contributed to brain development. Now, faced with this fresh kill, the team couldn't help but wonder if the creature they were pursuing exhibited a similar primal instinct. The realization came over them like a heavy fog. They were tracking a species that not only hunted with terrifying efficiency, but also exhibited behaviors strikingly similar to those of early humans. The implications were frightening, adding to their sense of dread in this scary environment. As Ronnie and Bryce dug more into the aftermath of the Bigfoot slaughter, they saw the importance of remaining cautious. They were in the territory of a powerful and intelligent predator. With each stride, the gravity of their situation became more apparent. The monster had not only taken the flesh, but also the bone marrow, which was suggestive of early human activities. This critical nutrient is believed to have significantly contributed to the evolution of the human brain.
Path of least resistance. This technology gives us a broader view of where they're coming in and out of,
leading them to a chilling realization: they might be facing a hybrid human rather than just a typical animal. Their earlier discovery of volcanic glass in neighboring caverns had taken on new significance. These organisms, like early humans, may use the glass's sharp edges to slice into tissue with surprising accuracy. As they examined the horrible scene before them, it became evident that this carnage had not been carried out by a wolf, bear, or even a huge feline. No, it was something far more terrible and massive. The brutality of the massacre contrasted sharply with regular animal predation, implying an intentional and calculated strategy. This was a creature with intelligence and intent. Recognizing the significance of their findings, Ronnie and Bryce quickly gathered samples from the bones, determined to take them back for further research. The search team was beginning to consider that Bigfoot might represent an early primitive human species, rather than merely a bear, big cat, or pack of wolves. Their findings hinted at a being that straddled the line between human and animal, displaying tool-wielding abilities and behaviors that suggested a disturbing level of sophistication. This realization intensified the urgency of their mission. Ronnie and Bryce swiftly informed Maria and Russell of their disturbing discovery, emphasizing the need for increased vigilance. All evidence suggested that the thing, whatever it was, may strike at any time. Evidence led to these beings making their way to the ice sheet near the head of the stream, which was rich in food and a perfect hideaway. Recognizing that both humans and animals prefer places rich in resources, it became clear that Bigfoot's presence here was no coincidence. With this realization, Maria and Russell resolved to pursue the matter as far as possible, while Ronnie and Bryce remained at the scene of the killing to collect additional evidence. Upon closer inspection of the scene, they noted something unsettling. The remains of the kill were incomplete. There were no signs of the body being dragged away, suggesting that the creature likely transported the remains to another location, a behavior reminiscent of chimpanzees. Coupled with their earlier detection of Bigfoot through the thermal robot, their suspicion was confirmed. This was indeed a Bigfoot kill. As Ronnie and Bryce prepared to examine a different region for fresh clues, they were interrupted by an unexpected sound.
This is kind of Sasquatch behavior.
I think it might be time to...
The rustling of leaves nearby. The cacophony held them in place, and their hearts beat with a mix of exhilaration and terror. They took out their thermal camera and searched the surroundings, but it revealed no signs of the entity's presence. Despite this setback, Ronnie and Bryce remained determined to find the source of the ruckus. After several hours of exploring the dense jungle, the first rays of sunlight broke through the treetops. Despite their tiredness, the team remained hopeful, believing that the dawn light would provide their best opportunity of locating the elusive monster. Meanwhile, Maria and Russell were tirelessly following the tracks of the mysterious entity, determined to uncover what was lurking in the shadows. Despite having only a few hours of sleep, the team's resolve to track down the being detected by Bryce's thermal drone remained strong. Throughout the night, they pursued its tracks, but the elusive creature seemed to slip away, leaving no trace behind. This was particularly perplexing, as the soft snow should have easily captured its footprints, yet it appeared to have vanished without a sign. As they neared a stream near a big ice wall, confusion set in. The earth showed no signs of the creature's passage, and in front of them was a large expanse of icy water. The issue loomed. Where could the beast have gone? As Maria and Russell considered heading down to follow the tree line, their videographer noticed something unexpected on the glacier. After alerting Russell, they both shifted their attention to the ridge, where they noticed a figure who immediately fled when seen. Realizing they were onto something, Maria and Russell decided to further study the glacier, motivated by the chance of discovering the truth about the mystery monster. The expedition into the glacier presented numerous problems. This rough and unforgiving terrain provided an ideal hiding place for any creature hoping to remain unknown. Even anything as fearsome as a bear found it difficult to track down anything in this area. Despite their best efforts, Ronnie and Bryce had little luck at the scene of the recent animal killing, but they persisted, motivated by tenacity. Their efforts paid off when they uncovered a claw mark high on a tree, far above the reach of any bear, indicating that whatever they were looking for was definitely enormous and powerful. Meanwhile, Maria and Russell were equally focused on closing the gap between themselves and the creature. The glacier's hostile conditions only intensified their urgency. It was a prime setting for a predator, but perilous for humans. After hours of searching, Maria's keen eyes spotted an ice cave, a potential shelter for the elusive Bigfoot. This discovery was significant. If the creature were inside, it could lead to a major breakthrough. The cave offered shelter, clean water, and protection from the elements. Everything a creature would need to remain hidden. Recognizing the significance of their discovery, Maria and Russell started to search the area for any evidence of the monster. Recognizing the huge and rugged terrain, they realized that more resources were required. They were successful in negotiating helicopter access, which allowed them to cover more terrain and survey the rugged area from above. With this airborne support, the crew was closer than ever to discovering the truth about Bigfoot. Despite their optimism, the helicopter team discovered no new tracks or traces of the monster after exhaustively examining the ice. Disappointed, the squad realized that Bigfoot had either concealed extremely well or departed before they could reach. Yet, they remained motivated by the valuable information they had gathered, determined to use it in their future investigations. 3 weeks later, back home, Bryce took the opportunity to review all the data collected during the expedition, including audio recordings made by Ronnie and Maria. He focused on the sensitive microphones set up in the forest, initially capturing only typical sounds of nature. However, Bryce stumbled upon something intriguing, a deep, unintelligible whisper that appeared to be a vocalization from Bigfoot. recorded during the evening when no one else was present in the forest. Excited but confused, Bryce contacted Dr. Ronald Cosper, an ethologist who specializes in strange languages. Dr. Cosper had previously translated similar recordings of Bigfoot and agreed to help Bryce analyze the audio. His research found that the noises were similar to human vocalizations, with two distinct types.
We think Bigfoot is coming down from the ridges at night and into this swampy clearing to hunt. Our team is going to be scouring for any evidence.
One approximating a certain language pattern and the other having unusual acoustic features. This study revealed that more than one person had made the sounds, implying the presence of a Bigfoot community. This revelation was noteworthy because it showed that Bigfoot could communicate, lending credence to the concept of a bigger group or possibly a colony of these elusive animals. Armed with this fresh information, the crew planned a second journey to discover the probable Bigfoot colony. Determined to identify and document these things, they embarked on a more risky trek, hoping to confirm Bigfoot's existence and investigate its behavior and habitat. What do you think about our findings? If you enjoyed this episode and want to see more groundbreaking discoveries, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. Thank you for watching.